What's up, guys? Flippin' Steve here in the 302. And speaking of the 302 stickers are now officially available on the channel. They are going to be $10. All proceeds to the national giveaway. You'll get the sticker. It'll be signed by myself, but more importantly, it will also have a paw stamp from the crazy one.
They said your paw print isn't worth $10. They said it's not. I think it's worth $10. I love you, but they don't think so.
With an inscription. These will also be made available on eBay, probably only 10 of them on eBay, because I have only about a total of 30 of these to get rid of. And on eBay, of course, they will cost a couple extra bucks due to the eBay fees. A few of these have already gone out due to the fact that people knew my Venmo and they kind of jumped the gun a little bit. So if you want one of these, you're going to have to hurry and get them. Doing a lot of buying over the past 3 months. But my final 2 cards have come in the mail. I have just received 2 cards in the mail. Amazing looking Chris Jones Prism Red Shimmer out of 35. For the first time in at least 3 months, I am not waiting for any more cards. And one of my favorite case hits of the year, Anthony Richardson, Plates and Patches American Metal. I love this design on these cards you guys have seen in the past, and I've done fairly well at grading these. I no longer have any purchases or waiting for any packages besides PSA orders, so it's time to flip the script and become a seller. Time to start moving some inventory. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my strategies, where I sell and how I sell, and just a few tips and tricks that I think help me move inventory. So you guys can hang around, check out this video, see if it's helpful. Of course, we'll try to hang out with the dingus as well. Are you hungry for the good stuff? Yes? Let's go. Let's eat. And see what else happens throughout the day. So with it being Monday, I did have some auctions wrap up on eBay last night. I have moved 5 cards this week, grossing slightly over $1,000, which was about $450 worth of profit. Let's show you guys a couple of the cards that went out. One of my 2 Tom Brady Firestorm case hit PSA 10s is out the door. And the 2002 Topps Chrome Refractor BGS 8.5 is also gone. Also, some of the cards that were in my most recent PSA returned. The Will Levis American Metal and the Joe Burrow American Metal have both sold. I paid $80 a piece for these, $17 grading fee. I sold the Joe Burrow for $180 and the Will Levis for $215. I'm going to run these packages to the post office. Going to take the stud with me. He hasn't been out for a while. Stud, I'll be right back. I got to run to the end of the driveway. So when it comes to listing my cards, I will use multiple platforms. I will always attempt to sell on Instagram first because that's direct with the buyer and eliminate all kinds of fees. Sometimes that's a convenience that I have just from being a content creator. A lot of people know who I am and they trust me to sell them cards. It also helps me know what some people are looking to buy and I can specifically target them with a card. But a lot of times I am going to have to sell mostly on eBay. I did mention MySlabs. And the way that I like to use MySlabs and eBay together is that I always list my eBay auctions on Sunday. I have a card in my inventory. I will put it up for sale in the middle of the week on MySlabs. I will also list it on eBay at the same time. However, I will list it on eBay under a buy it now, not under auction. A lot of people ask that. Do you sell at auction? Do you sell buy it now? Yes, I do both. Today was yard waste day, so I got to get my bin. And one of the strategies that I like to use is to list the buy it now on eBay higher than the price on MySlabs. On MySlabs, there's going to be less fees, so I can charge less. Sometimes this will cause someone who is interested in your card to maybe go over and check MySlabs to see if your card is actually there. I have done that in the past as a buyer, where I've seen a card on MySlabs and on eBay, and I've bought it on MySlabs because it was cheaper. eBay is going to get more eyes on your product and make someone aware that this card is available, and maybe they will do their due diligence to see whether or not that card is on another platform. It doesn't always work like that, but it is a way to try to get yourself a better sale. Now, like I said, on eBay, if I list a card in the middle of the week, it's always listed as a buy it now with the best offer of a price that I would like to take for it. However, all of my listings are set to go at an auction on Sunday night around 9 p.m. So all my buy it nows will then be turned into auctions on Sunday night, and they will run for 7 days until the following Sunday. So it gives my item a couple days to sell at a set listed price. However, if it doesn't sell within that 3 to 4 day time frame, it tells me that it's not drawing the interest, or maybe my price isn't right, or people just want to try to get an attempt at an auction, and therefore my buy it nows all turn into auctions on Sunday and last for 7 days. Got an Amazon package while I was out. Summer's coming up, which means pool time. To get that water testing kit. Now, the one major thing that often keeps someone from moving inventory is going to be greed. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, because everybody wants to be able to get top dollar for their card.
Cane soda?
$1.
But it's not just on the seller's end. It's going to be on the buyer's end as well.
Come on now, look out for a brother, man. Come on. Hey, check this out. Why don't you let me get a sip for 15 cents?
Because buyers want to pay as little for a card as possible.
My cups cost more than 15 cents.
All right, fuck the cup. Pour them a hand for a dime.
And the easiest way to sell a card is just put it at auction and let it rip. But a lot of times greed will prevent that from happening because a seller may be scared that it's not going to reach the price that they want. Buyers who don't like to be told what they have to pay for an item want to buy at auction because they don't want to pay a buy it now price if someone is telling them, hey, this is what you got to give me for my card. Human psyche works in weird ways. Now, I'm going to come back and touch on that shortly. Next thing I want to get into is consigning. Currently, right now, the state that I'm in is just getting back a 25 card PSA order. 45 cards in the mail right now coming back from PSA. That puts me at 70 slabs. I have sold a few. I also have at least 40 more cards out at PSA that will be coming back within the next 60 days. Just being a one-man operation who tends to run 5 to 10 auctions per week, I am going to consign a lot of my cards. Now, I will pick and choose the cards that I want to consign, and it will typically be my lower end, my PSA 9s, and I will try to sell those cards first, whether I'm listing them or the consigner is listing them, because I'm going to look to recoup as much of my initial investment through my cheaper cards, because if I can get as much of my money back and almost break even off selling my lower end, then it allows me to sell my higher end cards a lot easier because it's 100% profit and I'm able to offer better deals.
Yes, I know. I gotta go to work. You can just lay there on my sweatpants because you'll miss me.
One key factor to remember when you're running multiple auctions, typically 10 auctions or more, whether you're doing it yourself or through consignment, is that some auctions are going to underperform and then some auctions are going to overperform. One thing that I like to do to eliminate worry of cards underperforming is I like to look at what I would like to get for all of the auctions combined instead of on an individual card basis. You tend to look at it on an individual card basis and say, for instance, you have a $300 card and it sells for $200 and now it's underperformed by $100 in your mind. It's going to create fear and you're no longer going to want to sell your cards at auction, which is then going to make it tougher for them to be liquid. You'll also tend to overlook your cards that overperform by 20, 30, 40, even $50 because you're so caught up in the bigger loss that you don't see the overperformance that actually balances out and cushions your loss, sometimes even creating a win. So typically what I like to do, especially when I'm sending my cards in for consignment, when I'm sending 20 cards, is I like to say to myself, my expectations for this wave of cards is going to be an average of $100 per card. And I will vary the types of cards that I put in there based on value and what I think that they will get, somewhere between that $50 and $300 mark. And as long as I get $2,000 for all 20 cards, I don't care what each individual card sold for. I'm just getting what I wanted to get out of the order, which is an average of $100 per card, which turns into $2,000. To me, that's just an easier way to track things and to avoid getting caught up in the win-loss. Oh my God, this was a bad purchase. Oh, this was a great purchase. It's just basically one streamlined value, and you're making the money at the end that you're hoping to make. And that's all that really matters, and that is what will drive your success rate. Say you fall short of your goal by maybe $100. It doesn't seem so bad because if you're gunning for 2,000 and you get 1,900, that doesn't feel too bad. But if you get 21, 22, 2,300 and make a little bit over, it feels really good because you actually made more than what you were hoping to average on the entire order. Now, while we were on the topic of auctions, one way that I like to list my auctions is I'd like to put a starting bid on mine. I know a lot of people like to say 99 cents starting bid and forget about it, but I like to put a starting bid typically below the price that I would like to get for the card, and then I also like to add a buy it now option to my auction that is a very, very good buy it now price, because a lot of times that'll have someone who is interested in winning the card at an auction make an impulse bid because they'll feel like, hey, I want to try to win this at auction. I don't want to buy it now, but it is a very fair price. So I want to go ahead and hit this starting bid so that someone else doesn't come along and buy that buy it now price. Now, if you put your buy it now prices too high, that's not going to make them worry. That's not going to make them bid with impulse. But even me as a buyer, sometimes when I look at a card, say it has a starting bid of $100 and it has a buy it now price of $175, and I feel like the $175 price is something that someone could come along and snatch up, I will go ahead and hit that initial starting bid of $100 just to eliminate that buy it now option, which will then allow me to then go at auction and hopefully get it for under what the buy it now price was listed at. It's one sneaky trick that I like to use against the human psyche, because when people want a card, they can get impulsive. Sometimes they don't want to overpay, but they don't want someone else to get the card instead of them. After a 9-hour shift, I'm finally back to wrap up this video.
And we're still rolling with the stud.
Last thing I want to talk about is being priced to sell. Now, being priced to sell means you're pricing your cards at such a fair price that they're almost going to instantly sell. People are just going to see them as good deals and feel like they have to buy them. A lot of times, sellers are not able to price to sell because they're into the card for a certain amount of money and they don't want to take a loss. However, if you get really good deals on cards, it allows you to price below market, which then allows you to sell more easily because people are going to buy because they feel like you're getting a deal, especially if they're looking to resell the cards themselves. And this is typically going to be the case, flippers selling to flippers and such. One of the main reasons that I like to buy raw cards in grade to sell is due to the fact that my cost basis is not very high. Especially when my cards grade well. If I buy a raw card and it grades a 10, it will normally 3x the value on the secondary market. However, I don't have to sell at 3x the value because the price that I'm in on the card plus the grading fee is typically only about a third of the value. Which allows me to sell cheaper and still make a profit. When people feel like they can buy below market value, it makes it a lot easier for them to make the decision to buy your cards. However, you as the seller know that you have such a low cost basis that you're able to offer a good price and still make profit for yourself. To me, that's one of the biggest things when it comes to having high liquidity. It's not just the cards that you have, but the price that you're able to sell the cards at and still leave yourself room for margins. That's all I have for this video, guys. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram or check out eBay if you are interested in one of the 302 Downtown stickers. They are going to go fast, mark my words. And if you have any questions about selling your cards, please comment below. I'll either answer you directly or I may do a Q&A video, because it's impossible for me to cover everything when it comes to selling in one of these videos, especially when everybody does it differently. All right, guys, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to see if the dingus is still awake at 2 in the morning. Make sure you like and subscribe on the way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourselves.